Once upon a time, in the bustling heart of Paris, a modern-day Cinderella story was unfolding. Our Cinderella, Mounia, was not scrubbing floors or tending to her wicked stepmother, but instead she was announcing flights at the Orly airport. As fate would have it, her fairy godfathers, none other than the iconic French fashion maestros Givenchy and Cashapp, spotted her. They were utterly captivated by her slender frame, enchanting beauty, and innate sense of style. These two fashion world wizards managed to convince this young Air France employee to take a 6-month unpaid sabbatical and whisk her away into the glittering realm of modeling. Mounia wasn't just any model, she was a trailblazer. She was the first black model to strut the runway for Givenchy and Coco Chanel. Soon enough, she became the muse for fashion titan Yves Saint Laurent, and not long after, Mounia recalls, Paris Vogue handed me a whopping 27-page spread. No black model had ever been afforded such a privilege before. Once that issue hit the stands, I was a star, end quote. Yves Saint Laurent fondly remembers Mounia's dazzling debut. When Mounia burst onto the scene, she brought something fresh and exciting to the high fashion world. Her walk, her poise, her unique look. Despite standing just 5 feet 8.5 inches tall, she showed the world that you don't need to be a towering 6 foot model to make head turns, end quote. After nearly 10 glamorous years of being in the spotlight, Mounia remained a hot favorite among designers from Paris to New York. I attribute my success, she explains, to my knack for switching moods and styles quicker than a chameleon changes colors, and always being expressive and believable, end quote. She believes her versatility partly stems from her acting stint in a new French film. However, she emphasizes, another chunk of it comes from my attitude towards my work. I'm not one of those models who throw tantrums over a particular hairstyle or makeup that I dislike. In this ever-changing world of fashion, adaptability is key, end quote. Before we get into her childhood, hey friend, welcome to my channel karinealourde, where we deep dive and break down the most iconic stars through history. If you're not yet subscribed, please be sure to do so, and if you're already subscribed, please be sure to turn on your notification bell so you never miss an upload. Now let's get into this video. The story of Mounia, our modern day Cinderella, is nothing short of a fairy tale with its share of twists and turns. Born to a retired French police inspector and a devoted Martinician homemaker, Mounia's journey from a convent-educated girl in Fort-de-France in Paris to a runway sensation is truly remarkable. She dabbled in nursing, spent some time as an Air France employee, and then, as if by magic, found herself dazzling on the catwalks. Her extraordinary journey is immortalized in a book written by French writer Denis Dubois-Jallet, published by one of France's leading publishers, Robert Laffont, named Princess Mounia. It hit the shelves in January 1987. But don't mistake Mounia for just another pretty face. Behind her stunning looks, there's a savvy businesswoman who knows how to handle her finances. She earned a whopping $450 an hour from some designers, manages her own affairs, and even owns a luxury dress shop, Mounia's Boutique, in Martinique. The only one of its kind in Fort-de-France, she proudly adds. She's not one to splurge on designer clothes or waste her money on harmful substances. Instead, she invests wisely. She bought an apartment built in Paris and was aware that her modeling career wouldn't last forever, and she refused to squander her earnings. She stated, and I quote, "There's the Mounia who spends her working hours in diamonds and furs. Then there's the Mounia who adores blue jeans, flat-heeled shoes, animals, and children," end quote. The latter, she says, is the one few people know. Most people think I'm snobbish and inaccessible, but in reality, I'm very down to earth. The other Mounia is simply a role I play to protect myself, end quote. Mounia's heart is as beautiful as her face. With a strong sense of social responsibility, she organizes an annual fashion show donating all proceeds to charity. In 1987, she recalled that they donated $1,200,000 to an organization supporting disabled children. She invited 6 of the world's top black models to Martinique for the show, offering them a stay at her grand 8-bedroom mansion. But success hasn't gone to Mounia's head. Modeling can be glamorous one moment and full of disappointments the next, she admits. Being a Black model can be tough, facing discrimination, losing jobs you dreamt of, and sometimes just wanting to lock yourself up and cry. She laments the wavering demands for Black models. We were the in thing once, but now the trend has shifted towards Russians, Orientals, and blondes. The Black community should rally and demand for more representation in fashion, end quote. To budding Black models, Mounia shares some pearls of wisdom. Study people and trends. Develop your unique style. Maintain your weight and keep yourself informed. Beauty without brain is fleeting. And on a serious note, she warns against drug use. It's a surefire way to ruin your health, looks, mind, and character. End quote. Now let's do a quick little model profile for her, dissecting her beauty, okay? Mounia was a strong advocate of taking care of yourself and not overeating. Portion control helped her to maintain her figure. This also helped to maintain her clear skin. But she was also really into intelligence and for women to have a mind of their own, to be good readers of other people and have social awareness and to be aware of the industry that they are in. She always talked about how, of course, beauty without intelligence is fleeting, right? Both goes hand in hand for her. Now, in terms of her makeup and stuff, her makeup was always soft and natural, but for shows, I love colored eyeshadow on her. Bold colors went really well on her skin tone, red lipsticks, etc. Her eyes were very mesmerizing. The slightly hooded eye makes her eyes so seductive and alluring. Clothes laid on her like a hanger, and she looked like a mannequin, doesn't she? Her movements were so elegant and so soft. She reminds me of Katusha, which I did a video for, and I will link it in the comment section and end cards. But the grace, the class, and the elegance, she was naturally and effortlessly classy. She was also a sweetheart who was loved in the industry. She was also good friends with Iman. I did a video for her too, but she just had good vibes. Mounia once shared an enchanting tale with W Magazine about a particular collection inspired by Porgy and Bess. Dressed in a dashing pink pantsuit and a nifty boater hat, she walked to the tune of Summertime, embodying the character of Bess. The audience was captivated. The crowd erupted in cheers, shouting "Bravo, Yves Saint Laurent" and "Bravo, Mounia." That magical moment was sealed with a kiss between the muse and the maestro, a memory Mounia cherishes to this day. The legendary designer Yves Saint Laurent was on a quest for his next muse. His eyes landed on a radiant beauty named Mounia, who hailed from the sunny Caribbean island of Martinique. Her flawless skin, the color of rich coffee, and her elegant poise caught his attention, and he knew he had found a gem. Saint Laurent was a trailblazer, always pushing boundaries and shattering norms, especially for Black models. And I'm going to do a breakdown for him too, because he lived a very interesting life. But I love just how much he put on a lot of people of color, okay, in a time when it was not popular to do so or trendy, you know what I mean? He did the same for Katusha also. He saw in Mounia not just a beautiful face, but a symbol of diversity that was sorely lacking in the high fashion world. He brought her into the limelight, making her the star of his collections. And in 1978, a momentous event took place. Mounia, with her stunning grace and confidence, strutted down the runway at the Yves Saint Laurent Haute Couture show. This was no ordinary fashion show. It was the creme de la creme of fashion events, and Mounia was the first Black model to ever grace its runway. The fashion world stood up and took notice, applauding Mounia's brilliance and Saint Laurent's bold move. Mounia's face graced the covers of nearly 20 major magazines, and she continued to dazzle in Saint Laurent's collection throughout the 70s and 80s. Her journey was not just about personal success, it was about breaking barriers for future Black models like Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks. There were some victories that needed to be won. I had to be beautiful, very beautiful. Today I would be the exception, but tomorrow it would be all the rage to be Black, to have Black beauty acknowledged, applauded, preferred, end quote, from Mounia. When he, Lagerfeld, took over the design responsibilities at Chanel, he hired Mounia for that house as well. She became the first Black model to present the Chanel collection. It was her connection with Yves Saint Laurent, however, which was to prove the most fruitful and long-lasting of her career. After a spectacular run in fashion, Mounia hung up her modeling shoes and danced her way into the arts. She dabbled in music, releasing several albums before finally finding her calling in painting. Her vibrant abstract creations have been exhibited in galleries worldwide. Today, while Mounia continues to charm the world with her artistic talent, her legacy as a trailblazer in the fashion industry remains etched in history. She didn't just open doors, she knocked down walls, making way for diversity and inclusivity on the runway. And that, darling, is the fabulous story of Mounia, the first black haute couture model and muse to Yves Saint Laurent. Nowadays, she spends her days painting and selling her high-end art. But how did she go from the major fashion shows to the brush? This is a direct quote from her. She said, "I always loved painting, thanks to Yves Saint Laurent and Pierre Berger. As a muse, I was very often invited to exhibitions, openings, and parties. I learned to look at the work, the technique of the various painters I met, especially the mixing of colors. I also had the chance to meet renowned artists. One of them, the painter Bernard Buffet, urged me to paint. I also knew the sculptor César, who also encouraged me to paint, who followed my work and who even suggested to me never to go to art school. He told me I had something special. The painter and musician Henri Guedon was also very important to me at the beginning of my career," end quote. She is as beautiful inside as she is on the outside. One day she decided to use her fame and art to bring some sunshine into the lives of little kids who had lost their parents. These were kids from her home country Martinique and also from Haiti, a neighboring country that had been hit by a horrible earthquake on January 12, 2010, aka my home country. The earthquake was so bad it took away the lives of 230,000 people. Feeling a tug at her heartstrings, Mounia decided to do something big. She started selling her paintings and gave a big chunk of the money she made to her group called Mounia pour l'amour de l'enfant, which means Mounia for the love of the child. Then Mounia went a step further. She built a home for these orphan kids in a place called Onaville Croix des Bouquets in the West Department, one of the 10 departments in Haiti. She hired 5 grown-ups to take care of about 30 kids, making sure they had a comfy place to sleep and yummy food to eat, 3 full meals and a snack every day. But Mounia knew that these kids needed more than just food and a roof over their heads. They needed education. So she started a school right inside of the orphanage. It ran from grade 1 to grade 5. Every day, about 150 kids, including those living in the orphanages and others from nearby areas, would flock to this school to learn and to play. Mounia couldn't have done all of this alone. She had help from some big-hearted folks like the Régiment du Service Militaire d'Apté of Guadeloupe, Martinique, and French Guiana, and Alain Sauval, a bigwig from the French embassy in Haiti. They helped her rebuild the building that became the orphanage. Mounia knew she had a big responsibility on her shoulders. The kids were counting on her. So she would often travel to Haiti to see how things were going at the orphanage and to spend time with her little buddies. To keep this good work going, Mounia continues to sell her artwork. She's a real-life superhero, isn't she? As far as we know, Mounia hasn't been linked to any relationship with anyone and does not have any children. She has, for the most part, remained very private and out of the limelight. It's very difficult to find anything about her. Most of her interviews are in French. Even it still does not really talk about like her growing up. So I hope when they do these revivals of the typical models, like, you know, the Naomi Campbells and Linda Evangelistas, etc., Tyra Banks, I hope people remember people like Katusha also and Mounia, you know, where they don't get much shine. Like a lot of the models that I cover on this channel, they remember them too. There should be more information out there on her skincare routine, fun things like that, and especially the work that she's doing and charity and in Haiti. There should be a lot more out there about her. There is a book called Princess Mounia that is out on her life, but I'm curious because she did say they would turn the book into a movie. Has that movie been made? I would be very curious to see a movie on her life. I mean, being discovered, you know, working as a flight announcer, I mean, that's pretty iconic, right? Not all of us can be that lucky, right? But I love this for her, and I want you guys to comment below what you guys think, okay? So leave a yellow heart in the comments for her if you watched till this far, and put a thumbs up. I'm going to show you guys a few more gorgeous photos of Mounia, and the music you will be listening to is linked in the description. Thank you for watching. Until next time.